Now let's move to the best game of 2025 so far, which was in the same round of the FIDE World Cup between Hari Krishna of India, who's 26-90, where he sacked a queen and a rook, and the queen with just 2 pieces early on. And it just meant for absolute fireworks and for an absolutely brilliant game. He actually sat on the preparation for 9 years, he said, but it's in the Petrov, which is normally quite most people consider it quite a defense-minded opening, but as we can see with Queen D5 here. And the engine says minus 0.05, but this is a really good illustration of Tal's dark forest thing because this is such a complicated position. So white's threatening the knight, and if the knight moves, you can take the bishop. Also f7, incredibly weak. You can see that this is the sort of position that if you don't know any theory on as either colour, you're going to be in deep trouble, and Hari Krishna certainly did. But objectively, black's meant to be doing okay. But that doesn't matter at all, because in this position here, black played the right moves. c6, takes, and here, Hari Krishna just sacked his queen. It has been played a couple of times before, only 2 or 3 times. He clearly knew what to do, cause maximum pressure, because it's minus 0.05 to black, but it's not a traditional minus 0.05. It's how much counterplay white has for just stacking his queen for 2 pieces, and just a really rich position. So black started off okay, played knight c6, bishop e3. And I think this is where the opening preparation matters so much. He's been taken into the dark forest, his opponent, because what do you actually do here as black? Do you go knight e7? Do you go b6 to stop bishop c5? The engine wants b6. Let's say he played b6 here. He's 0.0 something, but it's very complicated after rook d1. You can see white has a lot of pressure because black's struggling for moves. In the game, played d4, trying to open things up. Now, if white takes on d4, then I think you can actually go for e5, so it's not good for white at all. So, after d4, bishop f4, key move, and we're already about equal. And queen b6, and suddenly white is gaining the upper hand here. No queen, no problem, as they say. With knight e7, another inaccuracy, but you can see why, because this is quite hard to find moves for black here. So if you kind of want to play g6 and get your king out, but then you play g6, you're going to get bishop h6 checking in, and it's actually even checkmate, I think, coming because of the bishop c4 at the end. So one checkmate could be like this, you know. Brutal checkmate because the king can't find any squares. So once you see that, you're like, where am I going to put my king? If I go this way, he's got bishop g5 check. And yeah, it's hard to find moves. So he wants to get his knight e7, maybe play knight d5, I guess. This queen is kind of in the way of itself. If he takes on b2, that might be interesting, but we can see here, white can just ignore it and can start pushing, going for rook h, f1, and he's actually better. But I think queen takes b2 maybe is better than what happened in the game, because after knight e7, bishop d2, knight d5, takes. So you might think here that white's been pushed back, but he's got very few actual moves. And once these rooks come into the game, rook e1, rook f1, it's going to be GG for this king, which has got barely any squares. That thing of that bishop c4 at some point going on this diagonal to checkmate is going to be key. So king e7, rook e1, and this is probably what makes it such a beautiful game. I just don't know what black can do here. So the idea is if we go takes, which we kind of have to, suddenly bishop g5 and bishop c4 checkmate. So if the queen moves to c7, let's say, go here, and it's just, well, the queen has to give up his queen, but there's pretty much nothing black can do here. So he's already actually lost. bishop g5. So let's say he plays h6, let's say. Then we're just going to take the queen. So anyway, in the game he tried rook takes f3. King takes. Queen takes b2. So here, he needs to play something like queen c6 maybe. I think just bishop e4. Or even king g3. The engine thinks this is just the same thing. Bishop g5 is coming. And the rooks come into the game on the f-file. It's going to be checkmate. So black's actually already kind of lost here. Crazy that might seem. So queen takes b2. Bishop g5 check. Rook e1. And we're just preparing bishop c4 checkmate. b5 to stop it. Bishop check. King now. Bishop e4. We just take it. So now it's a couple of pieces now for the queen. But after this, queen d1. So here, white's is way better already. But black needs to play queen a1. It doesn't make it would still be crushing for white, I think. And in a game like this, h4, and black actually resigned here, and you can see why. He's struggling just to find any moves. This queen is probably going to have to give itself up to stop any sort of checkmate, and there's so many ways it can get trapped. I mean, it's already almost trapped here. It's only really got one square to go. I mean, it's got nowhere in queen d1, but we can cut it off with this. I mean, if we want, we can, do bishop f3 to g4 to f5. So let's. And this bishop on c8, very, very weak. I mean, it's going to get lost. I mean, bishop a6, can you play rook a3? Let's say it goes into this. Could you just play rook a3, maybe even? Just take it. Yeah, computer thinks just going to have to sack it and get into this completely lost position for black. And yeah, I mean, there's just nothing here really. I mean, this king is got no squares, and it's just a beautiful miniature by Harikrishna, and he's up against a strong player as well. So it's just an absolute demolishing. I think it's the best game of the year so far for sure. If we go back here, the crazy thing, a lot of people will look at the engine here and go, black's a tiny bit better. And I'll never ever look at the position further, but we see here a concept of Tau, of getting into a dark forest where your opponent doesn't really know what to do, just being able to outplay them in the complications. So fantastic game, and inspiring for those of us that want to keep interesting chess.